This is what happens when a bunch of comic artists ink the same pencils. Welcome back to Ink Party, where I pick some pencils and we all ink them, then compare how the results come out. This month we inked this piece by Jack the King Kirby, and it was a damned good time. It's got the Thing experiencing clobbering time on the other end, Reed Richards with 2 right hands, and the saddest human torch you've ever seen. I hope everyone had as good a time inking this as I did. Here's how mine came out. After last month's ink party, wherein I let myself improvise a lot more than I'm used to, it was nice to follow a more paint-by-numbers approach. Kirby tells you where to go, and there's wiggle room if you want to improvise, but if you don't,
all we have to decide is
the line weight. I had a hard time with these hands. Hands were not Jack's strong suit, and while I do tend to editorialize hands as I ink and correct them a bit, it's Kirby, so I left them alone and inked them as is. I don't even know what's going on with this one. Like, his hand is open. Did he slap him? Did he just slap the Thing? The Thing was also kind of a pain to ink. That's a lot of craggy stone. Not my favorite. My favorite part was Reed's right arm, this big swoopy thing. I feel like I got some very satisfying lines out of that. I had a good time doing it. Johnny Storm's sadness rating, 7. Just remembered that awkward thing he said in high school. Next up, here comes magnificent Matt Childers with his rendition. Terrific stuff. I very much like these parallel lines that are only parallel within each individual rock. It's a really nice touch. And the back of, who's this, Ajax? Hold on a second. Okay, Google says it's Icarus. If you say so, Google. I don't know this guy. The back of his hand is nice, I dig it. I will say I think you went a little too thin for these lines here, and I bet this was just one of those oversights, but Reed's second right hand, the one on his left arm, is missing its fingers. Great work overall, man. Johnny Storm's sadness rating, 6. The acceptance phase. This one's by Mark Deering, and there's a lot of confident lines in here. Also, he was one of only 3 submissions that fixed Reed's left hand. You don't often see this inking style, and I don't know what it's called, this 90s J. Scott Campbell look. You don't see this applied to Kirby all that much, and it's a cool result. I especially like the white rings cut into the impact burst here. That's a nice touch. Now, this may just be a personal preference thing, but the brush you're using gets, fluffier when the line gets fatter, and it makes me think that this was inked on cheap paper with a high rag content, so the ink bleeds all over the place. And maybe that's what you were going for, and you enjoy that, and if so, hey, keep banging. My favorite part here is Reed's torso. Really good. Good stuff here, nice work. Johnny Storm's sadness rating, 8. I think Helen is cheating on me. Next up is Eric Ladd, giving us a nice John Byrne-esque take on the inks, and the most feral Reed Richards I've ever seen. Great job on the stretchy arms and Icarus's details. I do think the lines on his face could be thicker, and you got more than a little tight with the hatching on Reed's hair, but Johnny's flame trail is maybe the best out of everyone's, even if it seems like you weren't that interested in drawing Johnny himself. This is a solid page. Johnny Storm's sadness rating, 3. I don't think my inker is enjoying drawing me very much. Now we've got Stephen Marines, who was the second of the 3 people that fixed Reed's hand. Reed thanks you, by the way. And Stephen's take has some nice thick lines, good line weight sense on display here. I want you to try to find more confidence in your lines. I can tell you were drawing them a little slowly and overly deliberately, if that makes sense. Your thin lines are butted up against other lines so tightly that when you squint, they merge into a dark gray mass, so I'd give your lines a little more space, especially your thin ones. Good job. Johnny Storm sadness rating, 4. I used to enjoy being a human torch. What have I become? I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but next up is Adele.
Hello.
Some good lines here, and I like your confident approach. 2 things to go on here. 1, I see something I'm seeing in a lot of the submissions this month. Watch your minimum line width. When you get down to lines this thin, they disappear and begin to look like mistakes. I think you might also be using a calligraphic brush, judging by this line here, and I'd recommend against that. 2, I definitely recommend upping your stabilization settings. Your lines could use some more confident strokes. Great job. Johnny Storm sadness rating, 4. Why I oughta. Here's Jade Santowski-Trask's entry, and she only got this partially done, but what the hell, let's roll with it. Jade's got a really strong thing here with lots of nice lines on his rocky bits and a nice take on Icarus's He-Man do. Your thin lines get very thin, so what I said to Adele
Hello.
applies here. Turn up your minimum brush size and play around with your line weight. Try to have fun wrestling control of that line thickness and making it work for you in the piece. It's not an easy thing to get used to be sure, but it's worth it. Also, careful with the little instances of cross-hatching like these. Great job on Icarus's upper torso. Johnny Storm's sadness rating, 5. I don't think the Avengers respect me very much. Next up is Ian McClellan, who drew this traditionally and scanned it. Well, my heavens, an old-fashioned gentleman. Good job, Ian. I'd say work on making sure your brush isn't saturated with ink and maintains a good point. Concentrate on pulling the brush in even deliberate strokes, and I think you'll find your lines working for you a little more. The thin lines on Icarus's face and in the background, like on this, whatever this thing Jack drew is. If you get a tech pen or maybe a Pigma Micron, you'll have thinner lines in places that let the thicker lines breathe more. Johnny Storm sadness rating, 2. I picked a bad week to quit smoking. Last up is Suzanne, the third person to fix Reed's hand. Suzanne, a lot of what I said to everyone else applies here. Turn up your stabilization settings, work on your line weights, turn up your minimum brush size, and watch out for these really thin lines and the little crosshatch sections. I respect your willingness to go off book from what the pencils are telling you to do. Not everyone's willing to do that. Good stuff. Johnny Storm sadness rating. And that's it for this month's ink party. If you want to join us for the next one, you can join us here. This next month, we're inking this Trizia page by Pedro Perez. That's right, we're going cartoony, and you're going to love it. Pedro's a guy whose art I love inking. I've done it before, and I promise you, you're going to have fun with this. And I bet you're most looking forward to inking this, but also, I'll bet you anything, your favorite part will have been inking this guy. See you next time.